Hello, grade sixes, and you are back with Mrs. Jacobs. This is chapter 3, and chapter 3 is called Ship's Log. This is week 4, day 4, lesson 1, part 1. So let's discuss some of the main events that were in chapter 3. It starts off when they have left Southampton and sailed to La Coruna. They left Recife, where they played football. Christmas Day was at sea. Stella fell overboard and then was rescued. Australia, and there occurred many storms, and Mom was getting worse stomach cramps. The ball fell overboard. Let's go through some of the main events that occurred in chapter 3. In this chapter, Michael tells us about his adventures, and we read key points about his adventures in the ship's log. The first entry in the ship's log is on September 20th. On October 11th, Michael tells us he sees Africa in the distance. The next month, on November 16th, is when Michael's family leaves Recife, which is in Brazil. Michael tells us that on January the 1st, Michael was in Cape Town in Africa. Michael's dog, Stella Artois, on February the 7th, fell off the boat into the Indian Ocean and had to be saved. Michael stayed with his uncle in Australia, and on May 28th, Michael and his family were back in the sea after staying 6 weeks in Australia. The last time Michael wrote in his journal was on July the 28th. Did he write in his journal for the last time on August the 28th? What happened next? Here are some questions and answers I'd like you to think about. Number 1. When Michael and his family first set sail, how many miles a day did they want to go? Number 2. How many miles a day do they actually do? Number 3. What game do Michael's parents play? Number 4. What do they eat? Number 5. What creatures do they see off the coast of Africa? Number 6. In November, they went to Brazil. Where did they stop? Number 7. What did Michael do in Brazil? Number 8. What did they do on Christmas Day? And lastly, number 9. Describe in your own words the incident with Stella Artois. Now, here is an extract from the book, and it is a diary entry that Michael wrote. I'd like you to pause the video and read it silently to yourself. Pay attention to the word list on the left-hand side of the screen. Here are a few examples of captain's logbooks. And you can see there's quite a few different range that I have here. Here is a daily log entry that most captains would use. As you can see, this is the most important information that they would write down in a captain's log book. You can pause the video and you can read it silently to yourself. Okay, so now that we've gone to the end of our chapter 3, let's look at change in direction. And what am I talking about here? Let's find out. So I want you to read the log entry again. And this is an extract from it. It's really hot and heavy. It's calm too. No wind. We're hardly moving. I can't see any clouds, but I'm sure a storm is coming. I can feel it. After the log entry on the 28th of July, I think there's a definite change in the mood of the story. Think about this change in direction. What do you think it could be? Can you find any words, phrases, or sentences that show how the mood of the story is changing? After the dramatic development at the end of chapter 3, where do you think the narrative will take us? Think about the title of the book for a clue. Is there anything that puzzles you about the story so far? Are there any questions that haven't been answered? Well, boys and girls, in the next reading group lesson, we're going to talk about what has happened to Michael. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. I'd like you to go through chapter 3 once again and try and answer those questions that I read out to you orally.